The Warriors' run of 3 chips in 5 years makes them a dynasty. That's a trash narrative. Let's go.
Al 1 de Mayo.
Hello, welcome into another edition of Trash Narratives. I am your host, the Sam D. And just exactly why are we here talking about the Warriors? Well, it's because your man's Draymond did a thing. So H&H called out Charles Barkley, the round mound rebound basketball Hall of Famer, soon to go into the Hall of Fame again for his work on TNT. The H&H called out that guy for not having any championships, not having any hardware, not having any rings, because that's what everything is about. Everything is about rings these days. So H&H calling out Chuck, saying that Chuck has no rings, so therefore he can't talk basketball with him. Like H&H has more basketball acumen, basketball IQ than Chuck. So it got me to thinking, y'all gonna put H&H in the Hall of Fame, aren't you? That's what y'all gonna do. I know he's got some accolades and they look nice when you prop them up all together, but it's during a very short period of time. When it comes to putting someone into the Hall of Fame, we wanna put someone in that's gonna be held up. Someone that should be propped up, that should be prophesized. Is anyone prophesizing H&H? So look, I get it. You want to teach your children to play the game the right way. So you want to show them some H&H highlights because of his accolades and his rings, right? But you understand that to get to that point, to where you're teaching your children to play the game the right way because of H&H, you're also teaching them to habitually kick their opponent in their nether regions. Like, that's a thing. He's done that throughout the entirety of his career. You can go look it up. Don't look now on YouTube, but after this, check it out yourself. It's numerous examples of this grown man habitually kicking and punching his opponent in their nether region. And because of that, it made me remember something. What positive memories of the Warriors dynasty do you have? Well, isn't that the mark of every dynasty, having a memorable moment? Well, off top, let me tell you what I consider to be actual NBA dynasties. Well, you got the Shaq and Kobe Lake show. That was 3 and 4 years. You got the Magic and Kareem Lake show. That was 5 and 8 years. Technically, the Bulls were 6 and 8 years. And hell, I'll even give you the Spurs. At their peak, they had 4 and 9 years. I'm not even going to get into the Celtics thing, 11 and 13 years. I'm not even going to get into that. But you understand what I'm saying. So I could conceivably see why someone would think the Dubs 3 and 5 years is comparable to all of those. But nah. And it's because all those actual dynasties have memorable moments you could point to. I mean, you got Magic with the baby hook or playing all 5 positions in game 7. You got Kobe on the bum ankle. You know what I'm saying? Saving the Lake Show against the Pacers because Shaq fouled out. Even Big Shot Bob put on the cape a couple of times to save the Spurs. And we know MJ, he had moments in every single one of those 6 championships. So again, what's a positive memory of this Dubs dynasty? If you want to give them that first chip in 2014 where Iguodala came off the bench to win Finals MVP, I mean, let's get into that series if you really want to break down. This is probably exhibit A of why they're not a dynasty. So let's go to that 2014. They were down 2-1 to the Cavs, right? 2-1 to the Cavs. So Bron, Kyrie, no, he only played 1 game. All right, so no Kyrie. Bron, Kevin Love, he ain't played the whole series. He didn't give him 1 second. So Bron and a bunch of dudes were up 2-1 on this dynasty in the making Warrior team. So Coach Steve Kerr finally got the bright idea to start Iguodala, and once that happened, they ran off 3 straight wins and secured that first championship. And Iguodala was named Finals MVP. Not your man's, who I haven't mentioned yet in this vid so far. Not your man's, the face of the dynasty. Not your man's, Steph Curry. And why hasn't Steph been mentioned yet? Because he's a fraudulent 2-time MVP with trash ankles. That's why. And if you look at what has happened over these 5 straight finals appearances that the Warriors have, which would make some think they're a dynasty, Steph hasn't really brought anything to the table when it comes to the finals. He has not been the catalyst for any of the 3 championships that they won. He's just been a role player. So how has this guy that revolutionized basketball because he shot so many threes, even though Jesus, no, not not that Jesus. So Jesus, no, not that. I mean, that's closer to the actual, if that actually is a Jesus. Yeah, that one. That Jesus and George McLeod took more threes in a single season than Steph Curry did up until that point. But all of a sudden, Steph did it and he revolutionized basketball because he shot so many threes. So, how does a player get two MVPs, including the first ever unanimous, and not get one finals MVP? Because he's been basura in the finals. Those are the moments I remember Steph for in the finals. I remember him getting Swiss cheesed up by Kyrie on the ISO for that clinching three in 2015. I remember Steph in that same game 7 in 2015 throwing that behind the back pass out of bounds. I also remember Steph in that same game 7 not being able to shake, shimmy, cross up, hezzy by Kevin Love in the final possession. All of those memories are seared into my brain and probably your brain. Enter the Slim Reaper. So Kevin Durant, well, let's back up. H&H is in the parking lot of Oracle and he hits up Slim Reaper. Begs, pleads the whole squad. They go over to Hamptons and holla at KD and convince him to come to the Bay. So KD comes to the Bay and they become a cheat code. They win 2 of the next 3 championships and they only didn't win that third one because KD got hurt. I mean, routinely, even in the postseason when they went 16-1, no one really considered them to be an all-time team because it was a cheat code. So you have 3 of the best shooters of all time on one squad. That's a cheat code, especially for this version of the NBA. So with KD in the tuck, they go and get 2 more championships. But again, what's the positive moment? What's the memorable moment from even those 2? Maybe the parade. Maybe the parade is a positive memory for the Dubs. Maybe the Dubs dynasty has a parade moment. You know, we had, H&H was drunk with the whole nope and all. Nah, that's not really. I mean, that was a gif and a meme for a minute, but not really. Oh, maybe it was the front office. Remember when the front office who claimed that they were on that Jerry Krause where organizations win championships? Maybe it was when the guy said that Kevin Durant, Slim Reaper, hadn't earned the right to request anything in the next contract because, well, he said Steph, 2-time MVP with trash angles, he deserved it or earned it. But Kevin Durant, who had to save you and wipe the tears away from you blowing the 3-1 lead and validating this dynasty, he had to come in and do that. But he hadn't earned the right to request whatever he wanted the contract. But Steph, who didn't secure anything in the first championship, was a big part of the reason why you lost that second championship when you went 73-9 and lied. That guy earned it. That's what makes me bring into question the Warriors dynasty, because they didn't win 4 and 5 years. I would have given them that 5th year as in, like, I put that to the side. Your best player, Kevin Durant, got hurt, and your second best player, Klay Thompson, got hurt. I could put that to the side. But 3 and 5, especially with the way they got the 3, that's what brings everything into question. That first championship is essentially fraudulent because they couldn't beat the Cavs at full strength the next year after beating the Cavs undermanned that first year. So that negates that first championship. Then you had to go bring in the second best player in the world in Kevin Durant to beat the best player in the world, LeBron James, because you proved you couldn't beat the best player in the world with his ancillary pieces there at full strength the year before you brought in the second best player in the world. How are you a dynasty? How did you revolutionize basketball when you couldn't get nothing off unless they brought in the second best player in the world to help you out? So how are they a dynasty? They are not the Bulls. They are not the Kobe Shaq Lakers. They are not the Kareem and Magic Lakers. They are not the 11 and 13 Bill Russell Celtics. They're not even the Tim Duncan Spurs. What are the Dubs? They had a good run. They had a good run of 5 straight runs to the finals, and they won 3 times. That's a run. It's not a dynasty. It's like the Rockets with the back-to-back in between the Bulls' 2 3-peats. It's a good run. It's a cool story, but not a dynasty. So the notion, the narrative that the Golden State Warriors were a dynasty, Nah, bruh. Trash narrative. This is what I do here. I tear down popular sports narratives. If you have a narrative that you think I should tear down, leave it below in the comments. Let me know. If you have any thoughts about this narrative, if you want to debate me, holla at me. I ain't scared. Hit me up in the comments. Also, share it. Tell a friend. Let me know what the vibe is. Give me some feedback. The Sam D, Trash Narratives. I'm out.